What's up, y'all? I'm Drew Morrissey, and this is How to Rap.
Let's have some fun with them. Check me out, though. Yo, now the name's called A to the M.O. I'm blazed in a limo. Live late night like I was David and Leno. Say I can't bite, but I was raised in a kennel so that when they start barking.
Now, today's video is designed for people that want to freestyle, want to start going off the top a little bit, maybe at a party, maybe with some friends, maybe with yourself in your room, whatever it is. And you don't really know how, or you've tried it a few times and felt like you just naturally suck and don't have the skill, or I can't get good at this isn't a skill I can develop. All of those negative thoughts I hear from people who just start freestyling and think there's some large mystery to it, or that there's something they just can't conquer. Well, I want to talk to you today about the three main mistakes that I see with dudes who start freestyling and how to sort of root them out. I want to find the main things that might be holding you back if you've just started freestyling or want to, and ways that we can fix them. Okay, so the first thing I see when someone's new at freestyling and trying to get into the cypher or maybe freestyle for their friends is that they focus way too much on their voice and their vocal tone in a freestyle. Now, in other videos of mine that you can watch, I talk a lot about voice tone, but that's in the studio with a recorded and written song that you're trying to perfect for a large audience. When you're freestyling, I don't want you to think about your voice. I don't want you to think about being cool or how much swag you have or any of that, because it'll just fuck your head up. Your brain is already going to be dealing with a lot of information that you're trying to spew out very quickly. All the rhymes, all the flow, staying with the beat, what you're talking about, all that shit. So when you're starting freestyling, don't worry about your voice or your tone. Just make sure that it's loud enough that anybody around you can hear. And that's one thing a lot of newbies in freestyling do as well, is they forget to be loud, because otherwise they sound nervous even if they're not. Because if I'm rapping like this, it don't matter how tight I am, it just sounds like I'm confused and nervous. You know what I mean? Like, you can't hear me. So how do I know if you're tight or not, on the mic? So the first thing I want you to do, don't worry about your voice. And if anything, just start the verse a little loud so that your tone is there and the crowd is listening. Now, the second thing I notice often is people try to have exciting, intricate flows like the rappers that they're hearing or like the person before them in the cypher, and it's fucking them up again. If you're new, if you're just starting to freestyle, take a very easy flow, take something that everybody can understand and have fun with, especially if you're the type of person that just wants to freestyle for a party, for your homies, for some girls, whatever it is. Just freestyle simply with a simple flow. So something like, name is Drew and I'm having a lot of fun doing this shit. I don't grab a lot of guns, but if she's a chick, I grab a lot of buns. And she could be like Ye and John Legend, I'm number one. Whatever it is. I mean, I literally just made that up right here, right now. Not the greatest flow, but in a party and set in the right mood. It's just starting with something light to sort of bring the energy in. Trust me, the fact that you're the one person in the party freestyling at all usually will give you a lot of points. So don't worry about reinventing the wheel. And if there's a guy to your left or to your right who has like a particularly sick flow with freestyling or something like that, like a lot of my friends, when I freestyle next to them, they get really nervous. I tell them, look, don't worry about the way I'm rapping. I do my thing, you do your thing. Look, like a freestyle session amongst people is like a large conversation. It's like the United Nations meeting and discussing their issues. So some are going to be speaking French, this sort of Romance language. Some are going to be speaking German, all harsh and harsh. Some are going to be speaking English, the language of freedom. No, I'm kidding. But everybody in every country has their own style, and freestyle and rap in general is the same way. So don't beat yourself up if you don't sound like Lil Wayne or Twista or Busta Rhymes in the cypher with all the quick rhymes and da-da-da-da. Like, don't overthink. As I mentioned before, your brain is going to be processing enough information as it is. You don't need to make your things harder for yourself by trying to have the sickest flow and the coolest voice when you're just starting. And the last thing I'd say about freestyling and the mistake that I commonly see is they don't use the fun subjects to build their skills around. And what I mean by that is, when I started freestyling, I'd already been a rapper for like 5 or 6 years. And I usually wrote all lyrical because I was kind of like one of those like Nas and Eminem and pop guys. And I wanted to fucking rap about the deep shit, you know, all the time. So when I started freestyling, I was too serious and it wasn't fun to listen to. So I'd be in a party or a bar or a club or whatever, freestyling for people. And I would just sound like I took myself too seriously. So I had to make a change and start going on fun topics. So partying, girls, if you like to drink or use drugs or smoke weed, whatever it is, rap about that. If you got like a cool job or some shit, like you like do IT or you're like starting your own business, like rap about that. If you have a cool car, like rap about that. This is the only time in which you can brag about shit that you have and people will actually appreciate it. So like if you have a hot girlfriend, like your woman is just gorgeous, like you can mention that in a freestyle, like, oh, y'all know my bitch is better than yours. And people will like it, people laugh. But if you say that normally, like, well, we all know I have the hottest girlfriend, like you're a dickhead, you're a douche. So use what you have, brag about yourself in these things. Those are the subjects you want to talk about. Fun stuff, partying, being crazy, Friday night, going to the beach if you're out here in California, if you're from the East Coast, you know, running the streets with your homies, whatever it is. And like bring fun with your subject matter. Don't try to be Mr. like, when I freestyle, I define the systems of relativity, you know, because even if that's your thing, like even if you're a scientist or like a science student or a math student and like that shit, when you're first starting to freestyle, learn how to do a party freestyle. Then as your art comes along, as you grow in your abilities, trust me, it'll start to come out. Because now when I freestyle, sometimes I rap about like the Beatles or some shit or guitar, which I also play. And so, wow, that's a hello to the ice cream man. I hope you guys heard that. That's pretty funny. But, you know, I would now, because my skill has developed, I'm able to rap about many other things. So, to sum it up, I want you to focus not on your voice, just focus on being yourself and being loud enough. I want you to make sure that your flow's simple because you're just learning and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And people will give you props for even trying. And lastly, focus on fun subjects. Focus on the party. Focus on Saturday night. Focus on all the girls you're getting. If you're a girl, focus on all the dudes that like you or whatever, you know. Have fun with it. And with that, your freestyle will develop itself. And I will be making more videos about this. So you don't need to worry that this is the only time you'll hear from me about this subject. And of course, if you're interested, hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, on this site. I can do coaching with you. I can work one-on-one with you. If you really want to get good at this quick, I can speed up your process. Whatever you need to help, wherever you need to be helped. And I hope this has been pure value for you today. Now, I guess I'm going to go check out that ice cream truck, see if they got any breakfast tacos or some shit. I'm Drew Marcy, and this was How to Rap /Freestyle.
Been up on my Nas shit, bars in the margarine. I've been up on my pride shit, get on superstarring. I've been up on that old shit, that nigga going hard in the paint. I catch him like Colston and Saint, they salute me. You just get a nod for your rank. So if you talk what you ain't, I have you walk in a plank. I'm shining like stars in a lake, so even when the odds isn't great, I can cause an escape. I'm like Sean Connery, The Rock and the Rake. I write more than commonly, I'm awesomely great. This